All right, welcome back to the C Sharp Basics playlist, I guess, where I'm working on the Advent of Code puzzles. Today we're tackling day 4. I'm going to try to load this one up on YouTube, uh, starting the upload in the morning, so should be available pretty quickly. Um, Day 4's is kind of interesting. I've looked at it a couple times. It sounds more complex than it actually is. Uh, so we'll take it pretty. It should be pretty easy to work through. We'll take and plan it out a little bit, and you'll see how easy it really is. Sorry, my wife is messaging me. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's take a look at what it is. So we need to find an MD5 hash, which in hexadecimal starts with at least 5 zeros. All right. The input to the MD5 hash is some secret key, which is your puzzle input given below, followed by a number in decimal form. To mine the Advent coins, you must find Santa the lowest positive number with no leading zeros. So 1, 2, 3. That produces a hash with the 5-0 leading. For example, if our secret key is ABCDEF, the answer is 609043 because the MD5 hash of ABCDEF 609043 starts with 5 zeros. Okay. And it's the lowest number to do so. If your secret key was PQRSTUV, the lowest number it combines with to make an MD5 hash starting with 5 zeros is 1048970. That is this full hash here, and it starts with 5 zeros as such. So it kind of sounds difficult because you have to convert to an MD5 hash, which isn't really that difficult actually. There is a library that just does that, so you can do C# MD5 hash. Create an MD5 hash from a string. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty simple. Hash bytes to string, and then you give it the string you're gonna hash. So, yeah, you have to convert it to bytes first. So, or convert it to base 2, basically. So it should be, like I said, should be pretty easy. Like I said, we just gotta figure out how to make a actual MD5 hash, which it looks like you could do with the system security cryptography MD5, which I don't know if that's an actual library. Yeah, I would have to. Let's look again. System.security.cryptography. Oh, here, the Microsoft documentation. That makes it super easy. So we need to make sure we're using system security cryptography. So let's go ahead and start our new project for this. So again, as before, it's a console application in C#. We are going to name it. I think our naming scheme is Advent 2015.day, and we're doing day. I think I did zeros. Let's double check real quick. Yeah, I did zeros. So that's the one we're using. As before, we want to make sure we're in the .NET 5, which is our current .NET version. All of that's the same. And I'm going to go ahead and just open up the previous day. Well, I don't think I need the previous day actually, because I'm not going to do the stream reader. I'm just going to use the string because it's just one string. All right, so what do we need to do? We need to convert the string to binary, and then convert binary to MD5. Pretty simple. Okay, and then so that's what we need to do there. Our string is going to be puzzle input plus an int, which we're going to just do a not a for loop. We're going to do a while loop to increment the int. So that's pretty simple. Sorry. For those of you who are not aware, my wife just had surgery, so she's talking to me, so I got to make sure she's okay. So if I have to pause the video or the stream or whatever, please forgive me. Okay, so we do want there's one part that I do want to do from that I have been doing in the others. So for this one, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to do the stream reader, which is this part. I'm not going to do this because I don't need to have a data and test data class. I'm just going to have a variable because it's one line of string. But I do want to continue to do this, so that way I'm not stuck in a static set of functions. So I'm going to put that here. Then public void main function. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a string test data equals, and then we're going to use the test data they gave us here, which is this one, and then I'm also going to copy this one because we're going to do two tests since they gave us two tests. So we're going to do test data A equals, and then we want this one because it's a string. Oh my god, I hate that. And then string test data B equals, and then string data equals, and then let's grab our data. Oops, that's not what I want. This is our actual data. So, okay, so that's what we're going to do with that. We want our we'll do a console write line in a minute. Right now I just want to delete this because I'm not going to use the hello world. And then we'll also do a console.read key. Okay. All right. We do want to create a new method. So we're going to, just to keep with like actual programming techniques, I am going to do the MD5 conversion as a separate class, or a separate function, not a separate class, separate function. Realistically, if you were building a full application, you'd do it as a separate service and then just have it as a callable function in the service and then inject it, but we're not going to do that here. What we are going to do, like I said, is just do a separate function. So public convert to MD5, and we need to make it we're going to return an int Now we're going to return a string. Yeah, we're going to return a string. And we're going to take in a string input. And, okay, so right now, it's not, we don't have anything in there. Okay, so we're going to do a convert to MD5 function. We're also going to want to we'll do our loop in here. Since there's nothing else going on in the main function, we'll just go ahead and do our loop here. We should do it this way just because it's good practice. So we're going to do our comparer as a function. Validate number or validate hash. And we will pass in the string hash. Okay. So what this one is going to do is going to validate whether our MD5 hash is starts with 5 zeros. All right. So that's what this is going to do, and it's just going to return true or false. So we'll do an if true return, else continue. Okay. Or well, we'll just do an if false continue, else, and then if it's not false, it'll just break. So let's write out our loop that we're going to use to iterate through the MD5 or through the numbers. So we're going to do while int x equals 0. No, I'm going to make a Boolean. How do I want to do this? Do I want to escape with the Boolean? I'll just escape with the Boolean. While bool valid equals false. So while not valid. One thing with Boolean variables, because there's only true or false values available, you can, instead of doing valid equal, so like when you're doing your while, you can do while valid equals false. And that's the same thing as doing while not valid. Okay. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry for the break. Had to go help my wife. For those of you who didn't catch it, she just had surgery, so had to go help her with some things. Make sure she was okay. Picking up where I left off right before I cut the video. Let's see. I was talking about the bool. So, as I said, with a Boolean, you can do it is not or is. So, like, I don't have to have a condition here. I can just say if it's valid or if it's not valid. Okay. What this loop is going to do is going to start with actually, I need to start this before. So, int x equals 0. 0. Okay. And then you're going to take a string test equals. This is going to be, so we're going to start with test data A plus x, because we're adding x to the end, I believe, if I remember correctly from the, yeah, we're adding x to the end here. So that's how we're creating that. Now, we need to turn this string into a binary. So if we go back to our, oh crap. Let's go ahead and put this here. We need to convert it to binary. So we're going to do system dot let's see. You can tree string, so input is a string. Yeah, so we can do system dot text dot encoding dot ASCII dot get bytes. So maybe we should do a function for get binary. So C# string to binary, string to binary in C#. So what we're gonna do, yeah, we're gonna do we want to do a convert to byte array. As just a, yeah, we'll just do that. Encoding dot get bytes. That's interesting. Coding. Is that a convert to string byte? So this, yeah, I know that. I kind of know what that does. That's not important, really. This doesn't seem like the quickest way to convert it to. Do they actually convert this to bytes first? In hexadecimal? I don't know. I don't think we have to convert it to. Yeah, we don't have to convert it to binary. Pretty sure. So looking at this. I want to try this without having to convert it first. Maybe I do need to convert it. I don't think so. I don't think I do. Let me, hang on. C# hex decimal to MD5. That should take me to the same thing I was just at. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I don't think I need to convert it to a binary. I think I can just do MD5 hash. What I'll do is I'll test it with the ABCD whatever first. So system.cryptography.md5. Okay, let's give that a shot real quick. So here we're gonna do system. Well, let's see if we can use system.cryptography. So using system dot was it system.cryptography? Security. System.security.cryptography. That's what I thought. System.security.cryptography. Oops. Cryptography. And then we're going to do not there. Var MD5 equals cryptography dot MD5 MD5 dot, is it create? I gotta look. Sorry, I don't have this part memorized because I don't use MD5 much. Compute hash. It's compute hash. That's what I want. So MD5 dot compute. No, can't do that. Oh, I need to create. Okay, that's fine. It is going to be create. And then var hash equals MD5 dot compute hash, and we're going to pass in the input here. So cannot convert from string to byte array. It does need to be a byte array. I don't want to parse through all this. Encoding.default.get bytes. Wonder if I can do that. Okay, so I can just do, so the thing with the using statements, you can actually, so you can call the function directly if it's like in this case it's a built-in library. So you can call it directly, or you can do the using statement, which saves you from having to do all this all the time. That's what I was doing with so I think I need to do that. Yeah, and then using system.text and encoding default get bytes. So what we're going to do is we're going to test this real quick and see if plus let's set x to our test value, which is going to be 609043. No, cancel that. That's not what I want. So, and then I want to break here and see. I want to make sure that hash matches what we're looking at. I want to make sure that this conversion to MD5 is what we want it to do. So this is the difficult part of the project, is this compute hash. What happened? Oh, duh. I'm retarded. I need to pass in. I need to do the convert to MD5. So var return equals, or var response equals convert to MD5, and you pass in test. Okay. So what this does, I don't know if I've covered how you call functions, but this function that I created, it requires a string input, a string to come in. Okay, so that string is going to be this test that I created, which I'll show you. I'll just break it. I'll break it here so you can see what that is, or I'll break it here so you can see what that is real quick before I move on, because this is a basics C# training. So I've created these strings. They assign values. A string, as I said before, is just a collection of letters. It doesn't read them as numbers or anything, so you can't do math with them. If you do plus, like in this case where I do plus, it adds this onto the end, not like it's not trying to math it. So like that's the new string, it added it to the end. Okay, so this function that I wrote, or this method, requires inside this parentheses, this is your requirement, so you have to pass in a string, and that string is now labeled input. So even though I passed in test, it is now relabeled input for the purposes of this method. All right, now it's going to pass me back out a string, which I don't know if that's going to be a string. It might be a byte array, so we might have to convert it back to string. I might have to do a toString here or something. So that's what that does. So if I step into it, we're going to step in. So as this function starts, my input is now that test value that I sent in, which you shouldn't be able to see now because I'm no longer in this method. But it's that ABCD 609 blah 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 blah. Okay, so step in. I'm going to create this MD5 object, which lets me convert to MD hash, which the hash should be 16, and it only got 2 zeros at the front. Why does it only have 2 zeros at the front? My input, get bytes. Let's look back at our test stuff, or our data stuff. 5 zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. We have 609, 0, 4, 3. Should be 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Do I even, is the next digit even a 1? Is this hash not correct? It is a 1, but it's like, it's supposed to be 1 DBBFA. So it did not convert them back to letters. Let's see. Let's go back to our reading. This is where programming gets to be fun and difficult at the same time. To uint 32, no. Convert byte array to hexadecimal string. SB equals hash bytes I dot toString x2. We don't want string to binary. We want C# byte array to hex string. How do you convert a byte array to a hexadecimal string? So, string builder hex equals baud length times 2. Why times 2? For each byte in baud array, pen format What does this do? What does this part do? Okay. It looks like you might be able to do a 2-string. Let me see if this will do a 2-string. It might not. So a 2-string should convert it back to a string. So if I look at this, system.byte array. Oh. Hmm. Can I do system.byte? There's something I'm missing here. Do I have to? I think I have to do a bit converter. Bit converter dot 2-string. We're going to pass in hash. 0000. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is how we get it back. Okay, so this is that's the hexadecimal part. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to that's why they have to replace too. Okay, so what we're doing is we're removing these dashes out of it, and we're replacing the dashes with nothing, so it just removes them. So that must be what that. Yep. Okay, so that's the hexadecimal part. I misunderstood. This is why I said it looks harder than it is. Like, this is super easy. You're converting it back, but you have to understand what you're converting back. So my hash, these are hexadecimal codes. If I'm understanding this right. So when you convert them back to a string, it turns them into letters and numbers, but there's dashes between them when you 2-string them. So that's what the rehash is all about. This gives us the right answer though, because it's 001 DBBFA and then they dot. So if I go back here, DBBFA and then they dot. So let's try the PQRSTV with this number. That should be the right number as well. So let's go here. Okay. Stop. And then we're going to we're not going to do test A anymore. We're going to do test B. And we're going to make sure that that comes back with the same value as well. So our rehash should be 0000613. Damn it. 613 EF2. 613 EF blah blah blah. Okay. So we're getting the right hashes back. Cool. That's step 1. So what we're going to return is the rehash. Because that's the string we want to get back out. Okay. So blah. We're going to start this back at 0. We're going to start back at test A. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this test, we're going to take and pass it into the MD5. So we want to rename this. This is not our response. This is our MD5. Okay, so we get our MD5 back. All right. Once we get our MD5 back, now we need to validate our MD5. So var, we don't need a var. We can just do valid equals. And then we're going to do validate hash, and we're going to pass in the MD5. Okay, so now we got to pass this down to our validator, and if our validator is going to take this string and say if string, damn it, I think I can do string dot start, nope, string dot, I can do string hash dot starts with. So that's what this is, and you're going to put in what you want the value to start with. Okay, so if it starts with 5 zeros, you're going to return true, and if it doesn't, it's going to just return false. All right. So now what this is going to do is it's going to create this test string. It's going to convert that to your MD5 hash. It should be convert to hex. Actually, let's rename this. Convert to hexadecimal. So it's going to convert it to MD5 and then rehash that back to a hexadecimal. Okay. Once it does that, it's going to pass in that hexadecimal. Let's do this. We'll just name that hash instead because that's more accurate. So it's going to pass back out that hexadecimal string, and then you're going to validate that. If it's valid, it'll escape this while loop. All right. If it's not valid, it'll reloop. But because x doesn't do anything, it's still 0. It's going to continue to run it right now. So what we need to do is we need to do x plus plus blah, 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 blah. We don't want x plus plus here. Yeah, we do. That's fine. So the reason why I don't want to do that is because if I do x plus plus there, when I come out of the loop, it's going to be 1 over what we want it to be. So we either need to counteract that, or we need an x plus plus at the start of the loop and start our x at -1, which I think is the better option here. I think we can just start at -1 and then just immediately increment it, so that way when we do come out of the string or out of the loop, it it gives you what you're looking for. Okay, so now we want to write our return that it gives us. So the number that returns 5 zeros is x. Okay. All right, so let's see if we can get this with our test data A. All right, as we said before, the number that should return for test data A should be this 609043. So let's run it and find out. Okay, run. It's gonna do its thing. And 609043, which is what I said it should be, right? 609043. Yes. Okay. Let's try test data B. All right. Test data B. Double check here. Okay. Gonna run its stuff. This one's gonna count for a minute because it's gonna take a minute. Come on. Did you forget what you were doing? I hate that sometimes because sometimes it forgets what it's doing and doesn't write out. There we go. So 1048970. 1048970. 1048970. Perfect. Okay. Oops. So I'm going to leave those up just in case for part 2. So that should be, that's perfect. That should be exactly what we're looking for. So let's look at our data. What is our actual answer going to be? Our actual answer is going to be 11,7,946. Okay. So 11,7,946. Let's give it a shot. That should be correct. That is the correct answer. Cool. Let's go to part 2. Now find one that starts with 6 zeros. All right. Well, that's super simple. All we got to do is stop. Let's close this because that's where that error issues. All we got to do is update our validator to find one that starts with 6 zeros. And we're going to run it with our actual data because they didn't give us any test values. So give it a second. It's probably going to be a lot larger of a number. And part 2 returned 3938038. Part 2 is actually super simple. Boom! That's the right answer as well. This is why, when I was talking about before, why you want to build, why this is actually proper technique, is because if you need to make a modification here, you saw how easy that was. I just adjusted my validator. I didn't have to touch the rest of the code because the rest of the code did the exact same thing. But I adjusted my validator. I got the different return that I needed to get. And then, like, if I wanted to convert this a different way, I just need to adjust this. And then if I need to change how it validates, I change my validator. But essentially, breaking these apart and having a separation of concerns is exactly what you're looking for when you're building applications. Again, this is still a simple project. Shouldn't be very hard for you guys to duplicate. Looks like under 50 codes, and that's including the test data. So yeah, that's day 4. As before, if you like what you see, drop a follow. If you're here on watching on Twitch, like, comment, let me know that you're enjoying this. If you are watching it on YouTube, drop a follow, drop a like, drop a comment, interact in some way so I know that people are seeing these and they find it useful. I will see you guys with day 5. Not going to be able to get on it tonight, but I will get on it tomorrow. So see you on tomorrow with day 5.